Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. So check this out, y'all. This one is, well, you see the title, and I'm going to start by telling you pro-wacks, and I call you that because you're not like the original pro-blacks of when I got started and when BGS got started, even a decade before I did. You pro-wack, pseudo-Swahili-speaking, slow step, no-tep, Tarzan chasing retards are really doing a disservice. And you don't understand that when it comes to these gender issues, which are really all that's left, you are harming your people. And I call you pro-wack because if you were sincerely pro-black and you know about these points, you have to concede that Kevin Samuels is right and your butt's wrong. I'm not telling you all to follow him when he said commit fornication, but you have to admit that he was right about the overall nature of things. The observation was right. You're wrong. BGS is willing to still talk to you. Kevin Samuels was. These guys are willing to still talk to you. And what's happening is that, and these are guys that have been in Pan-African circles for the longest. And they're still willing to talk to these hyena Keishas you find yourselves defending. Meanwhile, these hyena Keishas are not cheating on you because they're never with you anyway. But they are pretty much showing you that you have to compete with non-black men. And not only that, but usually you have to compete with specifically Dwight man. And that has to be him because he's actually her worst choice that she could make. And she justifies that by saying, well, shouldn't I try to get with the most powerful man? She's not looking at the fact that the most powerful man got that way by stepping on your back and everyone else's. She's pretty much saying, F the victims, I want the one that commits the robbery. I don't care that he got rich by robbing people. That's the only one I want because he's got the money because he's willing to rob. Real pro-black men are sitting up and asking these boom shikas and hyena Keishas, well, who the hell are we supposed to rob that doesn't deserve it to get to where you want us to get? And when she doesn't have an answer, that's bad. When she has an answer, that's bad because she's going to tell you someone to rob. She ain't going to tell you to rob white man because, you know, that's suicide. She'll tell you to rob someone else that doesn't deserve it. That's even worse, morally speaking. You were defending the indefensible. And you were doing it in the name of false information, pseudoscience, and what Edward Allen Anderson, shout out to him, rightly calls nigger babble. I didn't say that, he does. But I understand why he does. See, and forgive the background noise, they just started doing something and I don't know what it is and don't know why anyway. You must understand and realize and keep in mind that you can sit up and talk all this stuff all you want about what the black man needs to do to get back the respect of the black womans, and you can talk that stuff all day long. We've already done it. Those of us who are authentically pro-blacks and had to stop because of cats like you. Those who are, but they gotta remain in the closet with that because of cats like you that overshadowed it. Those who never were, but just were willing to be with black women and start black families. We've all done it, and it doesn't matter. Now, my age group is torn in between. Some of my age group are like BGS. They're still willing to talk to you. Kevin Samuels willing to talk to you and Boom Chic and Bon Quisha. And then there are those of my age group that are like Austin Holloman and that new generation. We ain't talking to her, and we ain't going. The only thing is we gonna talk to you, and we ain't gonna listen to you. We'll tell you to leave her alone, all the Western women alone, and we'll tell other men to leave all the Western women alone. We ain't talking to the Western women no more. We're not approaching. We're not offering help, protection, provision, problem solving, and more of us are not even willing to offer procreation or just the act that could lead to that. She's that bad. It's that toxic. He's right when he says it's that bad. I've been saying she's that bad. I've been explaining this for a long time, and others have even before me. I am a part of my age group that's not willing to talk. So you can see where the trend is going. Because the younger ones are saying, we're done talking. We'll talk to you as men until you leave, and that's it. And we'll even show you why on video you should leave, but we're not willing to talk to her anymore. That's the end of that. We do not give them effort. We do not try. We do not validate them. And we're actually starting to get on men who will go to these Instagram models' photographs and hit the like button and put all sorts of, ooh, you look good. And if you compliment them, put an emoji in with a heart anywhere on the emoji or with a tongue sticking out, anything like that. We'll sit up and say to you, bruh, stop that mess. And see, another thing too is that I don't sit up and tell you any of these things. None of us who are passport bros or passport gang or SYSBM like me, or even IBMOR, none of us tells you the things that we tell you because we think that this current crop of women is going to learn their lesson. They can't. But remember this, there are still little girls and little boys that are innocent up until now, but they're going to grow older into adults. And if you let us do what we're doing, the little girls will learn because they will see their aunts who won't learn go through what they go through. And understand, auntie, grandmama and them, mama and them, they're going to pass away. Somebody's going to have to clean out their apartments and their rooms and everything after they pass away, and they're going to find the vibrators. And every other reason that these women were able to get off without these men. And quiet as it's kept, more and more women are actually beginning to admit that for all they talk about, black men being on the DL, that really it's these sistren that are on the DL. More and more of them are willing to admit to this. And they're saying, okay, you know what? We can talk about these men all day long and they ain't even into that stuff. And here we are in whole relationships with our besties, having sleepovers and alcohol gets to flowing and we doing booty grabbing and making out and all this other stuff. This is what they're doing and they know they're doing it. And they're lying and saying it's us. And the whole time, each other are the reasons that they're able to get off and deal with the lack of men. So what? F us. Or don't F us. Even when they're married to us. They don't care. When they do care, they're still against they're still against us because the sisterhood doesn't care and doesn't want them to care. See, you have to understand that they actually hate us more even than they love themselves. That's why if anything is of common interest to both us and them, they will forsake that common interest at their own expense just for our inconvenience. That's motive. That's only from one motive, which is a hatred of someone else that outweighs your self-love. That's what that is. Nobody benefits from this. They don't do this as a sacrifice for someone else even. They do it as a sacrifice just at your expense. And you pro-wacks are sitting up here willing to justify and defend them and love them. Last thing I'm going to tell you before I move on is this. In case no one has said this before, because y'all love to interrupt these guys that are still willing to talk to you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you now that if you are sincerely pro-black, or you are faking it and you're pro-wack, or you're just too stupid to be sincerely pro-black and you're a pro-wack by virtue of just idiocy, because y'all be spouting some stupid stuff that can't be true anyway. My third eye open. You mean the pineal gland? It's not an eye, dummy. Go read something. Yeah, man, black man 5,000 years ago in ancient Kemet could fly and didn't have to use the bathroom. Facts. No, that's not true. No, that's not. Black woman's goddess. No, she's not. And you're not God, and I'm not God. No creation is God or goddess. You know this. Y'all be spitting these pseudo facts and pseudo science, and you can't even properly read or spell that which you believe or that which even is true and is written properly. As a matter of fact, the better it's written in English, the worse you understand it. Because you're allergic to punctuation and capitalization, let alone differentiation between homophones, which is stupid behinds. Because you were too cool for school during school age. And now you're adults and you want to be deep, but you're too uneducated and illiterate to actually effectively communicate even at what you might be right about. So what I wanted to tell you is that whether you are really, if your intentions are sincere or they're not, the following is true. The only difference is going to be to the degree. That truth is that your very pro-blackness or claims to pro-blackness makes you less attractive to the same women you're defending. And you being less attractive to her does not just mean she doesn't choose you. It means she actually is willing to do more against you, use you. That's what that means. She's willing to be even more unfair to you. That's what that means. See, you have a better shot at starting a black family, which you think is the most revolutionary act. Black love, if you pretend like she has to compete with the white woman to get you. The Latina, the Asian, you make her feel like she's got to compete with any non-black woman and they have the advantage right now just because they ain't black. You make her feel like that and she's more willing to compete. That's how you have to do it. But they're willing to cook for me though. Then she'll cook for you. But you know what? They're willing to tighten it up in the bedroom for me though. Then she'll do it. And when you want to get married and you say she was willing to marry me, and then you get married. And even then, once you're with her, you got to make her think that if she screws up, you running straight to that white woman or that Latina, just anybody that's not black with a bad attitude. And she might try to keep you. That's what it takes. For me to have done what you would want me to do, which is to get a black American woman and start a family and stay in a family with her. In order for me to do that, I would have had to pretend it like I wasn't black. Can you imagine? How does that work? Doesn't that defeat the purpose? Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm not the only one. Your pro-blackness itself makes you it makes you unattractive and less attractive to her. Oh, that's not all. See, I talked about the difference between if you're sincere or you're insincere. Well, see, if you're sincere with it, that makes you even less attractive than if you're faking it. Oh yeah, didn't think about that, did you? So next time somebody's willing to talk to you, fut the shuck up and listen, or politely excuse yourself, but don't talk back to them. You don't have a right to go disagreeing, brother, because they right. BGS is human. Neither of us is going to always be right, you, me, or him. Shout out to him. But the thing is that he's coming from history. So if he's going to give you wrong information, it's because someone lied in their recording of history before he was born, which still ain't his fault. Because he ain't going to lie to you. He's telling you what these ladies will do. Remember, you forget how the women feel. You male hyenas, you gynocrat goons, you matriarchal ma'am dingoes, you slow step noteps, pro-wacks, did not like dating coaches a long time ago because women didn't like them, because women didn't like the idea of guys who don't know nothing about women while women were lying to them, figuring out that they were being lied to and being able to attract women anyway. The women did not like the idea of guys that were not just intuitively attractive on their own, becoming such intentionally. They didn't like that. They didn't like the idea of being attracted to a guy, getting with him and all this other stuff, and then finding out that years ago back in his hometown, he knew nothing about women. He didn't start off in his teens like that. That's what they hated. So they hated dating coaches, game coaches, all these, and you were right alongside. I don't like them. Because even if they ain't focused on black people, they're going to teach black men how to exploit the black woman. What do you mean exploit? She lied about what she wanted from jump. Now, because black men are beginning to say, we're going to get these passports, independent of what white men are saying, and they've been doing it too, independent of what black women have been doing, and we know they've been taking these trips, independent of them, because black men are now beginning to say, passports, brother, Brazil, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinas. Sisters from the continent, Asian women, and usually Southeast tropical Asian women. Because brothers are beginning to say this, now you want to sit up and say, well, you just need to learn some swag and some game. And, you know, brother, maybe you need to go to some of these coaches. Oh, my goodness. The same ones that you and Keisha didn't like until passports became an option. Well, they've always been an option, but until they became more known and talked about, that's what we're doing, brother. She changes her mind, so you change your mind too. You an idiot. And you're less attractive to her because of that. Because of think about it, your loyalty to her makes you less attractive to her. And you ain't figured it out, so you remain loyal. Man, she hates you. She thinks you're an idiot. It also tells you she doesn't like herself very much, so why do you love her? Because if you don't like yourself, she ain't gonna want you. If you do, your self-love is arrogance and conceit and all this other stuff. But if you don't, then it's lack of confidence, and therefore she shouldn't want you. I mean, you can't win anyway. Why you keep trying? Your loyalty's misplaced. I don't need to talk to her. She's an idiot. I need to have this talk with you, brother. You should know better. I think I said enough. You get the point. Thanks for listening. My next one, I'm going to talk about why male chastity is important. Why it's important for us to not just be these gatekeepers to relationships, but even to the penis. Thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual non-select male power, just because she doesn't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. Now drop some crypto change on a brother.